Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Reframing Eye Care podcast. I am your host, Dr. Maria Sampalis. We have Dr. Brianna Rhue with us today. Those of you that don't know Brianna, I think everybody knows you now, co-founder of Dr. Contact Lens, speaker in our industry, well-known optometrist and woman entrepreneur. So welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Maria. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's always great to bring powerful women onto the podcast that are doing great things. For those of you that are not familiar, Dr. Contact Lens is a marketing and ordering solution for eye care practices. It's easily to market and sell your contact lenses to the patients. The technology connects the prescription of the patient back to you, their doctor. We should be getting the sales of the contact lenses. This is a great platform to do that. It also sends the digital copies of the patient's prescription, automates reordering reminders, reminds patients when their contact lens prescription is expired to make them a next appointment. And they're very, Dr. Contact Lens really wants to build long-term purchasing relationships with your patients and restore the doctor-patient relationship. So welcome to the podcast. And I'm excited to talk about Dr. Contact Lens because it's been a while since we talked about it. And if you just give us like the story behind it and some updates.
Yeah, I was looking back at when we did this. I think it was like during the pandemic of lockdown. So like 3 or 4 years ago when we were really talking about it. So we've really grown up as a company. I'm proud of where we were. I'm proud of where we've come. I'm proud of our colleagues for understanding that this is no longer really a want, but a need. I had a pinch me moment. I was doing a pitch to a distributor, and I pulled up a pitch from March of 2020. And I have in the pitch of our things above the line that were done and the things below the line that was really our roadmap. So in technology, that, what's coming next? What are you building? What are the goals of the company? And above the line, we had 2 integrations. So it was a distributor and it was 1 electronic medical record. Now sitting here with you here, we now have 6 electronic medical record integrations. We now have 5 distributor integrations. We have some direct to manufacturer integrations. We have a care credit integration. We can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, a vision plan integration. Like, it's just a pinch me moment on the vision that we had for the company to keep patients in the eye care office.
Yeah, you should be very proud of yourself on how far you've come. And, it is a very competitive landscape. So to do that, raise a family, have a practice. You should be very proud of yourself and, and empower yourself for females in the industry. It really motivates a lot of females in the industry to want to be an entrepreneur. And, you've set that example of it can be done. So I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
What are some trends that you're seeing in the tech world that, can come to optometry?
Yeah, I look outside of the industry for a lot of inspiration. So looking to the dental space, looking to the med spa space, looking to even the vet space or just the business of all of this. Something that keeps coming up time and time again when I'm on these calls, not with just our colleagues, but also a lot of industry people, is they all just say how bad at business we are. I don't think that that's really the truth anymore. I think we need to, in the tech world, we can't be scared of it, right? We're all using tech more than ever. We order, even like Domino's. Domino's is a tech company that delivers pizza, right? And we have to flip that in our heads. There's a science of business. We're good at the science of the eye care. So I want to empower the utilizing technology to really advance your practice. So I was at a conference in January and something really stuck with me there. He said, insert your business here, right? So most of us look at ourselves that we're an optometrist that happens to own a business. He said, then we made that flip where you were a business owner that happened to be an optometrist. And he said the companies that are going to last are going to be a tech company that does what they do, meaning look at yourself as a technology company and that I think is empowering. That's impactful. And that's how you service your community and service it well.
Yeah, that's great. So for doctors that are business and tech now, right? So how would you say they can get much more value from contact lens sales? Because I'll talk to doctors and it's contact lens sales are dead. It's you can't make any money on contacts. At the end of the world for optometry. But I think there's a lot of opportunity. So let me hear your insight because you got a great big picture on the industry. You see things differently, and that's what I really like about you.
Yeah, I give them, we're going to call it the 2050 challenge, right? I'll throw that out here. So I want you to have either you do it or have someone in your office do it. Create a spreadsheet. Maybe we can share it here. I have one created. Look at your past 20 contact lens patients and look at how the encounter ended. And we'll call it here the Dr. Contact Lens 2050 challenge. Do it for 20 patients. Make a demo with Dr. Contact Lens and we'll give you $50 because it's enlightening on what is happening in these encounters. And you'll see how many annual supplies were sold, how many trial lens patients that you saw, how many partial supplies did you sell, and how many that walked. It is eye-opening, Maria, when you actually do just that small subset of patients. Then you take that 20 and you look at your whole month and then your whole year. So what we have found, we just pulled in an office, and this is the value of Dr. Contact Lens with the electronic medical record integration, is you're looking at your data. You're controlling the information. We all have these little gold mines that we're sitting on. We pulled in an office, and they have $6.1 million in opportunities. And they're like, this can't be right. Brianna, this can't be right. Go spot check it. And he goes, yeah, it's right. And that's for patients that are overdue to order, overdue to come back and see you, and then those patients that never ordered. So when we sent out his initial invite, these orders coming in, Maria, they were $1,200, $1,400, $1,300. Like their eye exams were 2, 3, 4 months ago, right? And now they're ordering at 7 o'clock at night, at 10 o'clock at night. And he goes, I've never seen anything like it, right? So I think where we get hung up is it looks like monopoly money, essentially, because it's such a massive number. And then it's accountability, which a lot of us don't have anymore. And it's also evolution in the practice. I don't use the word change because change creates a negative emotion. It's evolution. We have to evolve this way. We have to think not to the next rebate, not to the next 5 cents of savings, but 5, 10, 20, 25 years down the road, right? Here we are. I'm coming up on my birthday here, my 28th birthday for the 14th time. I just bought a practice in July, right? Second generation practice. I'm looking 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the road, not decisions that are going to save me 5 cents here or this rebate there. So I want you to look at the longevity of these things.
Of course.
Is, I guess, what I'm asking.
Yeah. I mean, you got a great view on things in long term. I mean, I talk to a lot of doctors and they're like, well, this is not right now. It's not going to make, but I'm like, think about long term. How can that benefit your practice? I always said like this patient might spend, an average patient transaction might be $300, and they look at that but then, hey, what about that patient that's there for 30 years? What does that look like? That value, that number, right? So think about that and who they bring in and Google reviews, big picture, because Google reviews are huge to bring in new patients. How are they talking about you on social? I think that's super important. And I think that's, just trying to change mindsets in our industry. And, I think it's really hard because it's a lot of new stuff coming out and exciting stuff in our industry. Presbyopia drops, IPLs, technology that we're going AI. There's a lot of cool stuff, but telemedicine, revolutioning. How can we benefit from it? Not just other companies benefiting from us. So how do we change that mindset? Because it's been tough, like to talk to these doctors. You bring something up and they don't want to talk to you anymore. Like how do you do that? And it took 10 years with corporate optometry on Facebook to change mindsets of what doctors do in CO. Give me your insight and how you think we can change colleagues, because it all benefits us. If you do well, I do well. It doesn't matter where you are. It benefits our whole profession.
Yeah, it's really, really looking at the abundance in the industry. I mean, when you walk in your door, like we have something so special there. Patients called you to see you. Like that is cool as shit. Like that's exciting, right? They walked in to see you to get help. So even it was 2 days ago, I was in my clinic, 67-year-old, woman, contact lens wearer, right? Still. And she's like, Doctor, I have to tell you, she's like, Dr. Contact Lens is so cool. Right. And I, sometimes I'll go a little further that, yes, I co-founded it and thank you for the service. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, I wish every doctor had something like this. Right. So I think what we have to realize is you are the competition and you have to remain the competition. Put on your blinders when it comes to things out there. You're servicing a community and no one can service it like you do. And that's where the data comes into this is, let's say you have 25 patients on the books and you could potentially make $20,000 that day, right? If we let 3 patients walk on glasses, if we didn't collect 4 copays, if we didn't collect 2 balances, if we didn't if we prescribed some eye drops, but then sent them to Walgreens to get it, right? That potential 20 ends up at 8 or 9. And I think that's where we're seeing this quote unquote, I hate the word burnout because I don't think it's burnout. I think that it's value. And I think that it's feeling undervalued. So it's asking for help. It's empowering your staff. And that's where you're either going to be successful with Dr. Contact Lens or you're not. It's going to come down to your staff in making them accountable. Again, nobody likes that word because we're this truth serum of showing, okay, you saw 20 contact lens patients. These ones ordered and these ones didn't. And like, that's not right. Again, the power is in the information. And then you get to enable yourself to go after it. But you've got to get your team on board behind you because they don't care. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't.
So, I mean, you talk about the practice moving forward and all things, but it also has to combine, right, in like your daily life. It's not just going to the practice, being forward minded. It's also like in your personal life, your family life. Mindset's important. Like my daughter today went to Six Flags. It's downpouring. She said, it's the worst day. It's your mindset. I said, you have 2 ponchos. You can hang out. You have all day. It's not going to downpour all day. You make it like maybe if it's downpouring at 11:30, you guys take an early lunch. I mean, it's all about your mindset. It's what you want to be, right? So it's the same thing in your business. You're held accountable. And then in your personal, like, what can I do to get better? Because then I can coach my team. I can coach my kids, things like that. So give me your perspective on it, because I think that's really important, because, if you have a positive, then you don't really dwell on the little stuff and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'll bring up 2 things. So having a 7-year-old like alongside you and a 2.5-year-old, and then my husband, right? Mindset's a big thing to me. I got into yoga in 2010. It absolutely changed my life. Just understanding how much you need to pour in yourself so you can show up for others. And we don't really take the time to do that. There's a book, and we did a recording on it. So we have a little book club. It's called The Gap, GAP, and The Gain, GAIN. Great book where it frames it up to say, okay, let's say it's Q2 and you started here, like at the bottom, and you had this big goal to get there and you missed the goal. If you measure from where you started to the goal, you missed it. You're going to live in the gap. If you measure from where you started to where you got and celebrate to where you got, that's the gain. So like bringing it back to your daughter, right? She gets to go to Six Flags with all of her friends, right? the excitement is the gain. Her looking at the rain and seeing all the problems is the gap. So it frames it up. And my 7-year-old now, we talk in these terms because it really is so effective for me, just to, again, dealing with team members and dealing with customers and things like that. You can constantly see if people are in the gap or the gain, and you can show them the gain. A lot of us don't like to live in the gain. And I'm not saying I'm in the gain all the time, but it is where you're focused. So do that with your team and do that with yourself. And then you're going to see these relationships flourish around you. And there was another book, my son and I were reading, The Magic Tree House. I'm so excited. He got his 100,000 words for 2nd grade. He got to go on the announcements yesterday. It was so cute, like interviewed by the principal. So happy mommy moment. That's a lot of words to like hear a 2nd grader read. So we were reading this Magic Tree House series, and in it, he taught, there was one where they went back to the World Fair in 1889. I think the World Fair was in Paris, and they interview the four entrepreneurs that were there. So Graham Bell with the invention of the telephone. You had obviously the Eiffel Tower guy, right, who built the Eiffel Tower. And then you had the Thomas Edison, and then you had Einstein. So they were all looking at what they were doing. One of the takeaways from the guy that invented the telephone is he goes, many doors will close on you and many doors will open, but we always dwell on the closed doors. Same thing for like reviews that we get. You can see 25 happy patients get that one negative review. That's what I'm talking about, living in the gain or the gap. You have 24 happy patients or the one mad patient, and where do we like to dwell?
Yeah, you're right. You know, over the years too, like that upset me. But now I'm like, oh, you know what? Just that's fine. You're not happy. Don't take it personally. You can go somewhere else. Go see my friends at this place. You know,
right? You're like the first to give them a referral.
Yeah, give them a nice referral to, you know. But you know, I think that's important too, and that's the same thing I tell my now. You know, I learn myself, and then I tell my kids, hey, it's not the end of the world. That happened, and you know, if they get a bad grade or what, I'm like, in 20 years, that doesn't matter, right? You know, the most important, I always say the most important thing is that we have each other and that we grow together, and whatever we want to do, we help each other. So you're right. I mean, and I used to get upset with that stuff too, and dwell on closed doors, but a lot of doors have opened over the years, and sometimes they just open by themselves, that not just you knocking. So there's a lot of opportunity in just changing the mindset, because you were right. I mean, it's the same thing that you've come a long way over the last 4 years with your technology, and then you in the industry and what you've done and speaking and things like that, and being the frontier with myopia management and technology, and just, you know, seeing big picture. I talked to a lot of doctors, and, you know, you are definitely an innovator in our industry, and very happy to call you a friend.
Thank you. And same. And I think that you need to look for those friendships that are out there and surround yourself with great people. Another quote that I love is, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present.
True.
I think with our industry, with everything that we talked about that's coming, it's just, you're not going to swallow the whole elephant in one bite. And it's just purely about focus. And that's, again, what I see in the practice is, yesterday I had 2 people called out, and one of my pieces of equipment went down. You know, I can live there or make the patients happy because they did, you know, call our phone to schedule us. And I think as physicians, I see this too with my husband. It's hard. It's harder than ever. So honor that and respect that, but know the gift that you have. And you have to be the one to fight for yourself. You have to be the one to fight for your business, because nobody else cares, right? Your sales reps, they're the ones to, you know, like push you in different directions and things like that. But it's about empowering yourself with the data. And if you aren't that person, finding someone around you to be that person for you is more critical than ever.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Definitely inspired me today. It's always great to talk to like-minded people, and, you know, not think that I'm crazy. the way the industry, I mean, I have these ideas and then I'm like, wow, okay, this other person. And that's great. That's why I go to conferences too. And, challenge myself to talk to, great optometrists in the industry that are doing great things and doing it at a high level. Cause then I can just get better too, as I grow. So
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much. If someone wants to contact you, or contact, to get your software for their practice, where can they do that?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. That's really kind of the world I live in because, again, I'm trying to surround myself with positivity. And what we feed ourselves is not that a lot of the times. But the other place to look for us is drcontactlens.com. Again, do that 20-50 challenge. Like if you send me 20 patients, I'll give you $50. And yeah, just we're out there. Like we're at conferences. We're going to be at Vision Expo West. We're launching Techify 2.0 again. So I'll be there. And just come up to me. I love hearing ideas. I love what people are saying, what they're doing. This, again, industry is so abundant. So we all have a gift, and give that gift to yourself.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being an inspiration to women in optometry.
Thank you, Maria. You too.